Hey everyone, it's Warriors Nrl Fanatics. Welcome back to the YouTube channel, and I'm joined at an earlier time this afternoon as we got Anzac Day tomorrow. So just before getting into it, I just want to give the soldiers thoughts to the soldiers that fought for the country, Australia and New Zealand. We know it's such a memorable day on the calendar, Anzac Day, and lest we forget, we will remember them. So. Yeah, just my thoughts to the soldiers that fought for our country, Australia and New Zealand. And it's a memorable day tomorrow on the calendar, especially. So, but joining me is Hold the Ball, Warriors content creator Hold the Ball, and Ash Thomas. I've had Ash on a few times. I just want to give also a shout out to Ash as well. Massive achievement on his YouTube channel with the 1K subscribers. So, congratulations to Ash. I'm sure he's pretty stoked with the amount of support he's getting on his channel, and he does some great work, and he's on there with Wars Up on his channel as well. They do a great show there called All You Can Eat Warriors. I was lucky enough to be invited to jump on their channel last week.
Bolt.
So Ash, good to see you. Good to see you and good to have you on the channel and Hold the Ball. Hope you're doing well as well. So hope you both are doing well.
Now, all is well, bro. All is well. Obviously, I'm cheering at the moment, all that, but I'm just hoping that the boys, double up for me here. Get the win this weekend. Get back on the track, boys. Yep. I know Hold the Ball's feeling exactly the same, aren't you, brother?
Absolutely, man. Again, congrats on the 1K. And look, we both share the same sentiments as you do there, Fanatics, about the soldiers and stuff. And obviously, it's a grand week and all NRL, but it is obviously much bigger than footy. So thank you again for that. And let's rock and roll, bro. Let's get to it.
Let's go.
Awesome. So you guys who are jumping into the stream, make sure you do like the live stream as well. Don't forget to click that thumbs up button as well. And make sure you're subscribing to the YouTube channel. Go and subscribe to Hold the Ball and Ash Thomas as well, our guest as well. So tonight's called the Panel Show Episode 1. So basically what this show is about, just to give an example what you guys are wondering what the show's about, it's basically chatting all things Warriors with regular content creators, which I'm going to try and do regularly throughout the season, for the next couple of weeks. It all depends on whether a guest is available, so that all depends and organise a time and date. But we're supposed to have Wars Up on tonight, but unfortunately Wars Up couldn't make it. So we'll hopefully get him on in the near distant future as well. So I'm sure we will organise something for the near distant future. But we're going to chat all things Warriors. So there's a bit of news going on at the moment, a bit of stuff going on in the Warriors world. In the NRL world, we're going to give our thoughts on the season to date so far, talk about how we're going, how we're progressing, players, team performance, coaching, how that's going so far. We're 7 rounds into the season. We'll talk about players individually, how they're going, who's our most improved player so far, how they're doing, how they're tracking, and is there a player that just needs to step up? I'll ask you guys what your thoughts on who needs to step up and improve moving forward. But we've got a long season ahead. It's only 7 rounds into the competition, and we'll give their thoughts on the Dragons game, Hold the Ball's thoughts, and Ash's thoughts on the Dragons game. Just a brief little thoughts there. Won't spend long on that one. And we'll talk about this week's game as well against the Titans on Anzac Day and the other NRL fixtures as well, and what their thoughts are on the season to date. So let's get into it. So we'll get into it now. So guys, start off with the Dragons Warriors. Quick little recap review. We'll start off with Hold the Ball first in the middle there. What are your thoughts, Hold the Ball? Just quickly, a quick reaction. I know the game's passed, it's done, but just want to hear your thoughts because I didn't hear your thoughts on the game.
I really think, to sum it up, was a bit of an illusion that the start was quick and obviously favoured us with a Sean Johnson try, and then it just went to the crapper there, so to speak. So, I just don't think. I don't know. I just feel like we're ambushed. Maybe the Dragons were expecting that. Maybe they wanted that. I'm not sure. But either way, we didn't follow through with our next punch. And then obviously But I think for mine, just quickly, the issue probably didn't even start at the game. It was actually even before, with the mentioning of the interchange, right? It was Pompey, then Mau'u, and then Leatawa, and then all of a sudden it was like Roach, Pompey. It was just all over the place. It was an ugly game, and I think we deserved it, to be fair. We deserved that. And I'm hopefully it's just a good wake up call to remind us where we are and where we can be, and obviously a lot of room for improvement.
Yep. Ash, what thoughts there?
Yeah, bro. I think honestly, to start the week, we went from the highest high. Fisher Harris signed. Everything was like talking around our club being so positive. I felt like, the Dragons maybe caught us off guard a little bit, but we got to give full credit to the Dragons. I thought they played an amazing game there. At a 1% there, they were completing at 95%, defending pretty much on their line on back-to-back sets and stuff. They were doing an amazing job to hold the boys out. But, with our boys, obviously is a big topic. Obviously the bench coming into that game. The injuries that we've dealt with for the start of the season, as I kind of touched on with our potty last night on Wise Up TV, we've actually, used the most players in the competition currently right now at 27 last time I checked that. And that was before the team list with Zion Ma'u coming in. That's 28 now. So it's kind of showing where the injuries are really hampering us at the moment, especially when we saw the bench. The first bench that came out with Ali Leotoa and and Pompey, I was like, oh, there's no way we're running with this bench. I can't wait for the change. And even with the change, I still looked at it and I was like, oh, I still don't see it. And obviously Webby only using 2 players at the bench all the way up till probably the last 5 minutes where he put Pompey and Rochi on. So definitely a game that we can learn a lot from, especially, Webby with his interchanges and that. Obviously, he'll probably look back on that and go, like, maybe there's something I need to fix up there as well. And maybe also, we can't just go into games thinking that we'll probably just, like, run over the top as every team in the competition currently right now. The NRL is such a tough competition these days, especially this year already. Especially, we're just trying to put all our systems into place. We will be better from this. But, yeah, full credit to the Dragons, man. That's all I can say. Full credit to the Dragons. Yep. They beat us on the day. Win Stadium is such a tough place to go and get a win there. And, full credit to them.
Yeah. Yeah. And what do you guys take out of that game? Like, what are some of the stuff that you would take out of it? Because just looking at the way Webby picked his bench and, not the one to, well, since Webby came on board, I've never been the one to criticize his selections and what he does, but his selections in terms of the rotation of the bench. Now, hold the ball. What do you reckon here? Like, what are your thoughts on that? Because, like, we had Adam Pompey on the bench and we had Paul Roach, right? So, what are your thoughts here on that? Because I felt like, the likes of Zion Ma'u could come into the side and, like, he select this week. So we'll talk about that soon. But what are your thoughts here on that one? Hold the ball, like the bench rotation that Webby went with.
Yeah, look, I think it was actually a bit of trial and error from our coach, right? He's human; he makes mistakes.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm trying to override what he's made. I'm just assuming that he probably could reflect back on that and be like, probably would have went somewhere different. But hey, it happens. And I suppose much like us as fans, we want to see growth in stuff players too. I'm sure the coach is much in the same boat there. But also, yeah, I mean, in terms of the outcome and all that stuff, what I got out of that game was, look, we need to do better when pressure mounts up, to be honest. And again, I'm sure we'll be able to turn that around, touch wood, against the Titans.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll probably say the same sentiment overall. Like, Webby's an amazing coach, and I think we all believe that. But no coach is perfect in the competition right now, and I'm sure he'll learn from all his experiences and that. And I think that's the biggest thing we can take out of this is we got a coach that is so flexible and will learn from these things. He's like, one of the better coaches in the competition for that. We saw it last year. As I kind of see, right, from last year, if you actually watch from start to finish, you see like all the chapters in our book of like, we started the season with just an effort. And we just noticed there's something different with the side. Like the fitness was there. And then slowly we're getting like, teams and like our attack started to come. Metcalf came through and he came off injury and then he just sparked this really amazing run through the mid of the season. And, by the end of the season, we were holding out teams, in the last minutes where, in years past, we probably would have given up a lot of these games. So I think, that's one big thing to take out of it. It's just a lot of learning lessons, bro. Honestly, it's, the Dragons did an amazing job to defend us the way they did, but also, it gave us a lot of really good questions coming from, the fan base and that. Like, it's always good to have different opinions that have been popped up left, right, and center. Like, I did a video on RTS and like, credit to everyone that brought up, the thought of RTS going to the wing and that. Like, I wouldn't have had a really full in-depth dive into something like that unless it actually did get brought up. And I think it's very good to see that we're able to hold our team accountable as well. But also, I feel like, we also need to get back on track and say it's a long season ahead. The boys will learn. We're 7 games in, and currently right now, I don't think we're in that bad of a spot. Just need to get a really nice win here against the Titans and get back on track.
Yep, and just hello to everyone in the chat there. So if you guys are watching, make sure if you got any questions or topics you want to bring up, feel free to bring it up in the live chat, and me and Hold the Ball and Ash will give our overall thoughts on it. So to just pop into the chat. So Jazz here saying having Paul Roach from the bench is a bit of a funny one. I understand it, but would prefer a bigger body. What do you guys reckon there? I can't disagree.
Yeah, I think overall for me, when I saw that, was more of the fact of when maybe not looking at Dylan Walker as a utility off the bench anymore. We're looking at him as more of a spark middle forward to play in that 13 role. Maybe I guess if we have centers and all that go down, he'll probably cover maybe a half cover and all that. But Paulie Roach looks like he's probably going to be most likely the hooker cover. Which is he stayed pretty consistent to start the season. He had Freddie Lussick cover on that bench to start the season. We had Chanel come in later. That was a bit more of a Dylan Walker type of cover that can play in that 13, but also had a stint in hooker for a little bit. So for me, it just looks like he's trying to be hooker cover. You'll probably only get to see him for 5 minutes by the end of the game, 10 minutes, in my opinion. I think the rest of the boys will eat up all the other bench rotation minutes there.
Yep. Hold the Ball. What do you reckon?
Yeah, look, I'm just going to follow what Ash said. Yeah, just I do see him primarily as a hooker, but in saying that, how good is it to see a Roach back in the NRL in the Warriors?
Oh yeah, right.
You know what I mean? It's not to go there, but obviously it's a bit of a tough story with Nathaniel Roach, right? So just to see his brother on there, it's so good, and it's a heartwarming thing. But yeah, look, what Ash said, I agree with. I don't really see him playing too much, but hey, if anything happens, at least we've got some hooker cover there and at different positions too. So it is what it is.
Yep. And Punter saying he's on the road driving from Christchurch for the game tomorrow. Luckily, I'm flying home, so I'm hoping for an improved performance from the boys. So yeah, all safe travels there from Christchurch. Enjoy the game. Sold out too. So yeah, another sold out game there. I think they're going to be aiming for one of the biggest ceremonies in terms of Anzac Day. So that's going to be huge. Yeah. So awesome to see. But Lion of Cavalry, kia ora, new to the fam, up the wires. Welcome, Lion of the Cavalry there. Good to see you in the live chat. Hope you're doing well. But yeah, what do you guys reckon so far? We're 7 rounds in here. So what are your thoughts on how the team's progressing? What are your thoughts here on the team, how they're progressing at the moment? Because we started the season, we lost to the Sharks here in a close one. We lost to the Melbourne Storm in Melbourne, which was heartbreaking from the Xavier Coates try, unfortunately. And then we beat the Raiders and we beat the Knights. And then then we went to Sydney and we beat the South Sydney Rabbitohs, and then we lost last week to the Dragons. So what are your thoughts here on the season, Ash? What are your thoughts on the season so far? Any particular standout play at the moment going real well in your opinion?
Yeah, I think we have if you're going to take before the Dragons game, because obviously the Dragon game gives us a lot of a big hit of reality at the moment, all that. But before that, I felt like we were one of the most consistent team in the competition. We had a little bit of an uptrend all the way up through the competition. Starting off that Sharks game, that was honestly one of us where we lost that game, in my opinion. I thought the Sharks' defense was incredible, but we bombed a ton of tries, so we were well into that one. And then add on top of that, go into the Storm game. We held to our systems. We showed that we could actually put points back on the Storm when we went down on a deficit of 18-6. Came back into a game against a Storm team that, in years past, they wouldn't allow us to come back anywhere close to that. You know what I mean? We've seen 74, beatings by them, So they were all really, really good signs from us. I think performance-wise, we looked amazing. It's just the results weren't coming. And then bang, bang, we went on a little bit of a run there where, we got over the Raiders, who were a very tough team to start the season. They were pretty full strength for us in that one. We obviously had a lot of switching, changing all the way through the season. And then the Knights game, that's when we had Metcalf go down, unfortunately, but we still filled that void during a game, stuck to our system, got a win there. So a great little victory there. And then we probably put one of our best performances together for that Rabbitohs game. and really showed out and showed the ability of this side, even with the amount of changes that we had left, right, and center. We had Dallin out in that game, but we still attacked absolutely incredibly, in my opinion. Even though the Rabbitohs have proven to not be that great this year, still, I feel like it's a great beat, especially against the Rabbitohs team. But we've always struggled with the Rabbitohs in years past. So it's good to see we get a circle on that and to say, yep, we got to tick on that one. And then obviously, the nail biter, the game that, the Manly game, which was like, the positive I got out of that, right, overall, was we stuck to a system. He turned the game all the way to the end. And we actually had probably the better chances to win the game by the end of that game. Very, very lucky to get into the extra point time, but that came down to our hard work. When we got into extra time, unfortunately, one of our strongest players overall of Tohu Harris, the one that error that, could have been just that 2 points right there for us to, we would have looked at the season completely a lot differently, like to have that three or 4 game win streak there. And then obviously the Dragons go down. So overall, very, very positive. I think, we've been very good this season. Performance-wise, I really love the game plan. Love that the boys are, we're actually attacking more defensively than what we did last year. Watching a lot of tape recently, going through back of our older games, where our defense is attacking really, really hard, especially down the other end of the field, holding teams into like good field position, and that we're getting good rotations there, and run meters is through the roof for us at the moment. I think it's just trying to stay consistent all the way through to a game plan, and that will come in time. Build combinations, and I think the boys will be up there. But a player that stood out, there's a couple of them. I think Shawnee's been really, really good throughout this whole season. He stuck to a game plan all the way through. I think Wade Egan's busted out and looked incredible in moments too. But for me, the big one is Mitch Barnett. And I think everyone's got Mitch Barnett on his on their tongue at the moment for Origin and all that. I think he's been absolutely incredible to start the season. He showed the grit for the middle. And also, shout out to Adden as well. Like Adden could have easily had a season off here. He could have easily come in and be like, I'm going to the Sharks next year. I don't got to worry. We signed Fisher Harris on the weekend, like before the weekend, and he possibly had one of his best performances all the way through. He could have easily gone, well, the boys are ready for next year. They're not worried about me anymore. Like, why do I need to turn up? But he turned up, and that's a really good mentality. And I think that's what says how positive our club is at the moment. Even though due to a loss, like a guy like that still has that winning mentality is a really, really positive sign. So that's my thoughts overall to start the season. What do you reckon, Hold the Ball? What do you reckon?
Well, look, man, I couldn't have worded it any better myself. I think you hit all the nail on the head there, Ash. I'll just probably quickly highlight just that Storm game, just my feelings. When they score that try, man, the devastation was real. The devastation was real. I was so close to having a tantrum, man. Just how, the Storm out of all teams. But yeah, look, I fully, absolutely agree with Ash there. Just going through the games there, especially, for example, the Rabbitohs game was so good to see us string wins together, especially against the Raiders nights leading up to the Rabbitohs. But I think the game for me was the Seagulls game. What is good and bad about that game, particularly when you bring the Dragons into it, is it was a good hard-fought draw for us, right? And I think it made a lot of us feel like very, what's the word, optimistic and, feeling really good. And then the Dragons game come, and it just slapped us back to reality, as Ash sort of touched on there. And I almost feel like just because of that, despite how I feel, and obviously there is positive signs, it's also, we're just not quite where we want to be. But again, like Ash touched on, it's only round 7, right? There's no need to get too down, too up. Just, sort of stay neutral here. But look, overall, honestly, we're literally 5 seconds away from being 4 wins instead of 3. If things go well for us in the second half against the Sharks, there could have been 5 wins on the trot there. But hey, 100%. It is what it is.
Yeah.
In saying that, I'm backing Webby, backing the boys. So bring on the latter half.
And I think the best way to also look at it too, like I did a little thing last night's stream as well with Lights Up TV and that. But last year at round 10, I know we're in round 8 now, but in round 10 we were sitting 5-5, sitting at 11th. And then we strung together a good little win streak, and we came together. You look at this year, we've actually got our best part of our draw later on in the season. So it's running into the finals. We've probably got our best look in our draw. So it's good to see us string a couple of wins together in that little period there. The performances will grow. And also, back on the back of that, the Panthers were 5-4 with 1 bye at round 10 of last season too. And they won the premiership. You know what I mean? Like 4 of those losses were heartbreakers for them. But they got on the horse. They just knew what their systems were, and they got into the fight. And later on the season, paid dividends. So I can't see why we why we're just going, oh, like everything's crazy and that. Like it's a long season ahead. It's 27 rounds here. Like we still got a long time. Obviously, we want to get a nice win this weekend, though, to change the overall view because it can get very negative very, very quickly. And I think that's where the fan base is at the moment. That's why we want the win as quickly as possible because we don't want the whole negativity around the club, especially with all the positive signings and everything coming out at the moment.
Yep. So just popping into the chat here, see the viewers' comments. So who you got here? What's up, TV? Good to see you. Good to see you, bro. Hope you're doing well yourself. Big up to the lads. Baby's down, but nice to listen in. The boys hit the likes. Hit the likes, people. Good to see you. What's up? Cheers, bro. So hopefully we'll have him on again soon. And Jazz is saying here. So I think in this case, being so low in stock's been an okay idea to have Dylan Walker as hooker cover. Yeah, it's not ideal. So yeah, what do you guys reckon there? Like, obviously with Freddie Lussick, he was our second choice hooker, but he's been suspended. So yeah, what do you guys reckon there on Dylan Walker being the other option?
Well, I honestly think that we didn't really have any other choices through the middle at the moment too. I think we'd need an exemption if we're going to look at Kalani going these days. I don't think he's in our top 30 squad. If you look at everything else that was going on, we have no Sifikula that we can call on at the moment. He's currently injured. There's not a lot of middles that we could be running that could have filled in that void other than maybe did you want to run a center there? Did you want to run Pompey in that position too? Like that's really a question back to Jazzy is like, did you want Pompey? Did you want Ali? I could see that argument a little bit, but I think, honestly, either way, any of those boys wouldn't have played long minutes either way. I think we're in one of those positions right now where injuries are hampering our depth as much as we can. Like it's actually crazy to think. I think we selected the bench on the amount of available players that we have in certain positions. So, that's really my thoughts overall on it. Hold the ball.
Yeah, look, again, there's not much there to really rattle off. Besides that, we are definitely facing a bit of an injury hit, unfortunately. But it's just about the troops coming back and being, hopefully getting us back to full strength. So, in regards to Dylan Walker, he'll do what he can do, right? The good thing about Dylan Walker is that he's flexible. He can play almost anywhere. So, that's a positive there. Yeah,
as Naz says here, Walker will be okay. Got mad experience. So, yeah, absolutely. So, just looking at it, the injuries at the moment. So, talk about a few injuries. We got quite a lot. And it's really testing the depth of the squad at the moment. So, at the moment, we've got Bunty Afoa, and he's got a hamstring injury. So, 6 to 8 weeks at the moment, it's saying here. By the Warriors website. You got Kurt Capewell, who just unfortunately had an injury, throat injury there. And Chanel Harris-Tavita, he's got 4 weeks. Luke Metcalf has got a leg injury. Then Murata Niokore got a foot injury there. Surfer Kula, he's on the injury list as well with the knee injury. And Jazz Savanga, 4 to 6 weeks. So what do you guys reckon? What are your thoughts there? Like, I think it's it's a case where maybe a bit of worry, is it? Or what are you thinking? Because I'm sort of last week I wouldn't have said that. I'm sort of feeling like we're getting to the case where it's really testing us in terms of our depth at the moment, like our forwards especially. So, what are your thoughts here on that one, Ash? What do you reckon there? Like, we're lucky to get Walker back this week, which is a great in for us against the Titans. But what do you reckon there? Moment.
Yeah, man, you hit it on the head overall. Like it is getting to the point where it's actually become like it's a problem. Like it was like an issue before. With the Dragons game coming into that, seeing the amount of inexperience on our bench and stuff. Like I wouldn't expected. I think we did a live stream of his Fanatics earlier on before the season, and if you threw up like Laban was going to get a bench spot like this early on in the season, I would have said no way. But we've been tested that far that Laban's actually in a starting squad this week. Zion Mau'u is like come in where before like there was a little period there where I honestly was like, our best bench. I don't think Zion even gets into just our best bench where before the season I was like, maybe he has a crack, but seeing, the systems overall and that, but the injuries are starting to stack up, but I think, Punter has a really good one here that you just put up, CHT and Jazzy expected back by around 11 for the Panthers. That's a big one. Obviously, we've got to try and get through, the Titans and the Knights coming up this weekend. The Titans are desperate for a win, and the Knights, I'm sure they will be very desperate for a win if they're unable to pick up one this weekend against the Dolphins. I'm pretty sure it's the Dolphins they play this weekend too. With no Ponga, I'm sure like the negativity around the club, they want to change that as quickly as possible. But overall, it is testing us very, very muchly. Like, we definitely need to hopefully get boys back as quickly as possible. But yeah, I'm sure the boys will hang in as best we could. And as soon as we get the injection of all these players to come back, hopefully, yeah, we can get some combinations together and really make a run towards the end of the season or mid to late in the season.
Yep. Hold the ball, I reckon. Yep.
Yeah, look, following Ash, I reckon if there was ever a time to have injuries, not that you want any, probably better to have them early in the season, just to sort of run off what he was saying, Ash was saying there in the end. Obviously, the boys will come back in the mid-season, and then hopefully we can get our full strength squad by the mid to the end of the season where it really matters. So, again, injuries ain't great, but it's so good to see the boys there filling Laban, Ma'u, right? And possibly even more, maybe. Coming in the new blood. So no, it is what it is. But Webby, I'm sure will do what he does, and the Warriors have a next man up mentality, which is evident to see, and hopefully against the Titans as well.
100%.
Yep, and Richard's saying we should win both games. I will cry otherwise. So
don't cry, Richie. Don't cry.
Yeah, don't. Well, I mean, we really should, just looking at based on the next couple games, but which will be really difficult looking at it after we play the Titans and Knights. Really tough games ahead. But yeah, punters saying with majority of the injuries returning between round 11 and 14, I have a feeling we've gone a big streak to end the season, similar to what we did last year. So
100%.
yeah, as we did last year, we went on a bit of a run, winning streak there, and we finished in the top 4. So that's definitely possible. It's definitely possible if we can get a fully fit side to give on the field. So fingers crossed. Yeah, fingers crossed that those players recoveries don't go any longer. And we get them as an expected date, like they say on the website there. But just looking at the what was I going to say now? Apologies, I forgot what I was going to say. But just looking at the next the next couple of crop, the depth at the moment, and then we've got the pathways teams. The pathways teams at the moment who are doing a great job. So I just want to give a bit of a shout out to the pathways teams. Got the Harold Matthews Cup side who are in the grand final this week. They're playing on Saturday down there at Combank Stadium. So they're taking on the Western Suburbs Magpies, and it'll be in their first year in the competition. Our Jersey Flag Cup side we've got at the moment, who got their first win last year. They're first win last week against the Dragons under 21s team, and the New South Wales Cup team obviously getting a win there on the Siren with a try there. I think it was C22 who scored, and Tainter converting from the sideline to win that game in unbelievable fashion. And so it's great to see our pathways going well at the moment. They're doing very well. We've also got our SG Ball team who just missed the finals. They did pretty well, but only just missing the finals here. So what are you guys' thoughts here on the pathways, how the pathways is going? So it's great to have the pathways on board, but hold the ball. We'll start with you. What are your thoughts here on the pathways system at the moment, pathways teams?
Yeah, well, look, post-COVID, it's looking promising, right? I mean, obviously things were happening sort of before COVID, but I think COVID almost put everything to an end, unfortunately. So to see the Warriors sort of build it and develop again from scratch is good. And again, seeing the results there. And look, it's going to be good for some teams. It's going to be not so great for others. But the point is, we're developing these structures there, and obviously these more things are going to be implemented as the years go by. So again, it's so good to see. And I'm actually just looking forward to everything that's happening. Obviously, the younger teams as well, because they are the future of the Wars, right? They're going to be the ones donning the jersey, so to speak, in the coming years. So how good is it? But again, just very happy, and we're seeing the fruits there of our labor, so to speak. So may it continue.
Yeah, the back of that, bro. Very, very similar thoughts overall. I think, the Warriors finally putting a lot of effort into their pathway is such a good sign for our club in general. We kind of touched on before we went on stream, and that it's just so good to see our club, everyone says the benchmark at the moment is the Penrith Panthers, the system that they have in Western Sydney, the talent that pool in Western Sydney is so great for rugby league. But if you actually think about it, the Warriors got a whole country where they can really develop and really find the best talent and try to nick the best talent out of rugby union, which is a big win for rugby league in general there too. And that's the thing is, like, you know, in years past, we always had the issue that some of our best talent would get nicked very early on because some of the like best systems weren't in New Zealand. They were actually back over into Australia. But it's so good to see now we got a system. You can actually get so young, you can get a Warriors jersey and feel like you're a part of the squad. You've actually got a pathway all the way through up to the first team. And just overall, I think the boys are really taking that with both hands and really like thriving. Like the Harold Mats to get to the grand final, incredible. You know, all the other squads that we've had up and down moments with the SG ball and that, but still incredible to see some of the talent that we have there. Like individual talent, we've never really struggled with, especially with the Warriors. And it's good to see we keep them in the system. And I think the biggest comment that I can get out of all this is with our guys that have just come through their first like lot that's come through the development system. So Zion and Halasemas and Stowers Smiths and all that, they've actually come out and said that they're planning to stick at the Warriors for as long as possible, whether it comes to pay cuts and all that, and just be that new type of warrior and not go search the other teams to really find, you know, they get their name in the game. Like they're going to do it with the Warriors. And that's a really positive sign overall for the club.
Yeah, well said by both of you. And like I personally feel like, yeah, when we were watching the younger players, the Harold Maths team, whether it be the New South Wales Cup team or the Jersey Flag under 21s, you know, it's just for me good to see that the club is moving in the right direction in terms of bringing that pathway system through. And obviously, a couple of years ago, we couldn't do that because of COVID and being based in Australia, and now it's come to fruition. We've been able to do, you know, start building that pathway system, and it's only going to improve and it's only going to get better and it's only going to take time. And yeah, it's all about patience. You know, we Warriors fans, we really want to see a young player coming straight away, but that's not always the case. You know, we can't just expect it to come straight away, but it all takes a bit of time and development, and that's what the pathway system is about, and that's what it's supposed to do, is help these players, you know, grow in their younger age, and hopefully be in that first grade side in the near future. So yeah, that's the key for me. But 100%. Yeah, it's just great, you know, with the junior pathways. And Naz is saying here, Mount Druitt's got more population than New Zealand doesn't it? So yeah, well, Penrith, you know, their system, me as a fan, you know, being so jealous about how good their system is, but we a couple of years ago had a very good junior system. We've got to remember as well. People got to not forget that we had an under-20s team that dominated the Holden Cup for a number of years.
We were good at it.
Good players come through that. Albeit, yes, not all of them played for the Warriors. A lot of them left. But we had some good young players come through. The likes of Sean Johnson. You know, we had some very good talented players coming through the under-20 system. So hold the ball, Nash. What do you reckon on that one? What are your thoughts there on that? Because I feel like the Warriors pathway system is now just heading in that direction, isn't it? It's heading in the direction we want it to be, like it has been a couple of years ago, where, you know, we had an under-20s team, we had a New South Wales Cup team, you know. So what do you reckon there?
Yeah, 100%. Completely agree. Like, you know, we've had amazing like juniors come through the club. Just unfortunately, we were unable to hold them all the way through. Just, I think, you know, seeing the systems, the way everything's run now, obviously you've got like all your juniors all the way up to cup. And then they're so close to touching that first grade squad, where some of the 20s, you know, you see them in 20s and then you won't really see them again until maybe that moment where, you see them in cup every so often, you see him in the NRL first grade, and be like, I remember that guy. Like, you know, I've seen him in 20s. Like, we've had a couple of amazing years in 20s. We were so dominant for a period there. But unfortunately, when the NRL was like no more 20s, it was kind of like, well, there goes, you know, half our premierships that the club has won as well through the 20s and that. So, but just so good to see. Yeah, the biggest thing I can keep touching on is just we're keeping our talent at home, and that's a massive tick for the Warriors currently. You know, we've always really struggled with that. It's good to see the boys, you know, holding together and want to be a Warrior overall. What do you reckon? Hold the ball.
Yeah, look, again, not too much to say there, but it's just really important that we secure talent who want to, as you said, be a Warrior. You know, want to invest in their time in obviously playing for the Wars. So again, I think that's just so important. And obviously, again, it's just all that development that's happening. And again, it's just good to see.
Yeah, well said there. But yeah, guys, if you haven't done so already, please make sure you give this live stream a like. Don't forget to give that a thumbs up. And make sure you also subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow Hold the Ball and Ash on YouTube as well. But yeah, just we've pretty much covered on the pathways to give our thoughts on that. So just looking at the back to the senior side now. So at the moment, going out for the season so far, and looking at some of the players, and we've got RTS here playing a number of positions this year. He's played a bit of centre, he's played a bit of wing. There's been a bit of a debate where he should be playing. Is he doing enough? What do you reckon here, Ash? I think he's doing all right. I mean, he's had some errors in his game over the past couple of weeks. There's some people saying we should be on the wing. Should we move Ali Lautoa into the centres? Should we put him back to fullback or Chancellor or Cookstad to the centres? Do you think we should do that? I don't. I personally, at the moment, feel like you can't really swap them around a lot. But what are your thoughts there on that, Ash? You did a video there. Obviously, you did a video there on RTS shifting to the wing, and I don't think it's a bad idea. I don't think it's a bad idea in bringing someone like an Ali Lautoa into the centres or on the wing there. But what do you reckon there, Ash, on this one?
Yeah. Overall, I did that video because there was a big wave of, getting Roger to the wing. And honestly, I was in the camp. I definitely I still am in the camp of, Roger staying at center and working at center. And I worked through all the questions because I really did want to deep dive on why did this all come ahead? I first went to did we just want to see Rog be the old school Rog, what he used to be, at a fullback position? And we got to understand maybe, we've got a 30-year-old Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, still incredible of an athlete. He's still unbelievable, but he's not the old school Rog, what he used to be either as well. If we play him on the wing, there's going to be a lot more meters through his legs. The injuries could come of that. Obviously he came to Webby and said, I want to play center. And that was his thing. Webby's noted that multiple times this season when we wanted to chuck him at fullback. There was a lot of talk in the Australian media about chucking Rog to the fullback. And he's like, nah. Rog came to me and said, I want to play center. If Rog came into me and said, I want to play fullback, it would have been a different discussion. But, Chance is our fullback. And I think it's very similar here. It's Rog wanted to play center. It's his time. Let him have time to grow. He's only had, I did the stats and all that. He's had 3 full games of center. Overall minutes wise, he's had 4 games of center. He had that Raiders game where Tane, I'm pretty sure, came off. He filled the game at the end there for fullback and ended up scoring a try and all that in that position. But in all the stats, he does everything he usually does in that center position. Maybe a slight down click on those run meters and that. But did we maybe, I asked the question, maybe did we need to look at what is a center? What do we expect out of Roger Tuivasa-Sheck? Who is the best center in the game? I'll ask you guys, who do you reckon is the best center in the game currently right now? It's a big one.
Big one.
It'd probably be Joey Manu. I feel like a lot of people would say Joey Manu. So tell me the biggest differences between Roger Tuivasa-Sheck and Joey Manu.
If I was to chime in, biggest difference. I'll be honest with you. I personally almost don't see too much.
No, and I'll throw another one. Herbie Farnworth, before the season, there was a lot of talk of obviously he's better than Katoni Staggs. What's the difference between Herbie Farnworth and Roger Tuivasa-Sheck?
I reckon Herbie probably needs to pass the ball a little bit more. He can be a very strong outside back, but I think his game is he had a great year last year for the Broncos there. He's a great signing for the Dolphins, and I think the Broncos will be missing him this year. Katoni's a good player, don't get me wrong, but I'm a big fan of Herbie Farnworth. I think he's got that power, strength, he can run the ball very well. His defense is pretty good as well. You don't often see him miss a tackle, so can also score a try. But I think the thing that probably I would question is, he probably could pass the ball a bit more when to his wingers. But that's my only thing I'd probably critique of
that kind of swings back exactly what I'm trying to say is a lot of people questioning maybe Roger's passing game. And so it's there's a lot of great centers that everyone agrees is great centers that don't have a good passing game. Isaac Tungo is a player that everyone absolutely adores at the moment. He actually has he nearly doubles Roger's error rate Like he's got a lot of errors in him, and he's one of the like. If you actually watch Isaac Tungo, he does get caught out in defense a lot more than what Rog actually does. And so this is the thing. Like, there's a lot of things of like, I don't know if Warriors fans are just thinking that like, you know, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck at center is going to be Roger Tuivasa-Sheck at fullback, but in that center position, we're going to give him ball, and it's going to look absolutely unbelievable. He looked great to start the season, in my opinion. As if you look at him as general comparatively to all the centers in the competition, I would put him up there at least around that top 10 mark. And if I'm going to be a little bit biased, I'll put him around close to that top 5 mark. I probably wouldn't put him in yet. But as I just touched on, we touched on Joey Manu. His biggest fallback is his passing game. And we all agree with it. He can go back to fullback and run about 400 meters. Rog can do such a similar thing at fullback too. Like you know what I mean? Like, so now I kind of rounded it out is like, you know, is the real question about Marcelo Montoya. And that was the real one, I reckon. That's the real reason why people are arguing about that.
Yeah.
But if you looked at the stats last season, Dallin Martinez-Lesniak averaged more errors than Marcelo Montoya last season, right? To start this season, they're not too far different from each other at all. If you actually look at some of our worst performances, both those boys have had big errors in that game. And if you put Roger Tuivasa-Sheck to that wing, we've seen Roger fill in that fullback in that wing position and drop a lot of high ball this year too. And this is the thing, like there's a lot of things that's like Roger hasn't trained in that winger position just yet. He's training in that center. He's been pushed to the fullback for a game. Let him just have time to sit down, figure out the game. He's got such a good IQ knowledge. I think a lot of it does also come down to our left side being hampered with a 6 rotation that we've had currently. We've had 3 different 6 through that system at the moment. We've had a hooker that went down earlier on in the season. We had Freddie Lussick for the Storm game and all that. And then we've had Wade Egan just come back in. So we had to organize like our spine overall. We've had Tane Tuapiki to start the season at fullback. We finally got Chance back for 3 games there. Like our team still needs to grow our combinations, guys. We forget we didn't have an amazing tack early to mid part last year. Our attack came on mid to late, you know, like we had those games of the Roosters game, the wet game. We did not score a point in that game. We had, you know, the Rabbitohs game last season where we struggled to score points in that game. And then we went for that little period there where just Metcalf just sparked something and everything came together. But a lot of that came down to our system. So although it's just me just saying, just ease up, guys. Like, let's relax. Let's review what a center is. Like, what is a center? Tell me how many great, like Valentine Holmes is another one. Valentine Holmes' error rate skyrockets Roger Tuivasa-Sheck current at the moment. And his defense is not that amazing at the moment either. So that's the whole thing. It's like, these are the best centers of the game. And I think Rog stands up with them. It's just really how you view the argument and comparatively of how our left side actually uses Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. So that will come in time.
Yep. Yeah. Well said. You know, really well said there, Ash. You've put up some great points there in regards to how the centers, you know, run. Like for me, like I agree. Like, you know, there's some people that are starting to doubt RTS. You know, they're saying, oh, you know, he's had a few errors. You know, people can have an off game. Like, you know, it can happen. And then you got some people saying, oh, you know, you should go RTS back to fullback because a lot of people love RTS. You know, they want to see him at fullback and. You know, albeit, you know, don't get me wrong, I think he'd be great at fullback, but we've actually moved on from the last couple of years. Chance has done a great job. We've got to remember that Chance had a great year last year, and Webby is back Chance, and no matter what, you know, he's back Chance from the beginning of the off season. You know, he's like, no, you know, everyone in the media questions, you know, says, oh, should RTS be the fullback? You know, but look, Chance is. Yeah, he's been great. Look, Chance is coming back into the side from injury. He's had 3 very good performances in 3 games. You know, he's topped the running meters. You know, he's well up there. So yeah, like,
and I think like overall, if you look at it too, is like, you know, if we're gonna put Rog to the wing, a lot of people are calling for Adam Pompey back in that center. And I want receipts on every single one of these people that say this and see what they looked at with Adam Pompey last season and how many times they criticized Adam Pompey in that center role. The amount of Warriors fans that criticized Adam Pompey last season, and now they want him back in that lineup to really, you know, have that as our best lineup overall. You know, I feel like after one game, a lot of people do go into red alert mode and all that sort of stuff. But you know, the other argument too is Ali Lautoa is in that center role, and I could maybe see that overall, but I still kind of want to go back to is like Roger wants to learn center. Like, why can't we just allow him just to be like, you have your time, see how we go. And honestly, I still think he's doing amazing. I think early on in the season when we had Metcalf in that 6, we actually saw a lot of good football out of Rog. And Metcalf was very direct. He was a lot more direct than Tamade. But at the back of that too, Tomate's had a couple of really nice performances too, like the Rabbitohs game and all that. I think just the boys need time to gel, and we need to give them time overall. There's no other winger that we have either that, in my opinion, like if we're going to switch a winger out and put him outside of Rog, that's going to do a similar job, if not better job, than Marcelo Montoya at the moment. Like Ed Gossi has errors in his game still. There's moments in that. He's an amazing player and he'll grow into something amazing. He's still so young. Like, Setu too, he's only just came onto the scene, looks incredible. Give him time. Don't chuck him in there. Like Marcelo still averages 150 from the back end. Add that with Dallin Martinez-Lesniak, 150 from the back end. Roger averages currently right now 170, but on center, he averaged 150. Unbelievable. And Rocco does just a solid job from the back end as well. Like, I feel like our back line's incredible. The way we lost the game on the Dragons on the weekend was through the ruck. That was really where it was. And our right side defense was not up to scratch in that game. Kate Well didn't have his best game. They were trying to spot up on Shawnee as best they could. I didn't think we lost the game because of that at all. I honestly do believe that we got shot, we got caught out, and we just got to go back to the drawing board, learn, and just understand that it's a long season ahead. We got a lot of time to grow.
Yeah, Ben, just read this comment here, so I didn't get to have a chance here to read it, but you guys have been giving some great thoughts, so I didn't want to butt in there. So NP is saying here, very humbling to see you guys doing this content. I must say, over the past few years, Warrior supporters have been on the rise. You three, Wise Up TV and Warrior Holic complete my work. So appreciate that support, NP. Really appreciate it. Yeah.
Can I touch on something, Fanatics, too, quickly on that one?
Yep.
To everyone in the chat, like, all you guys that are in the chat too, I appreciate every single one of you guys, because honestly, all the names are such a similar names between all our channels. When I start up a Hold the Ball, I've noticed some of these names on this channel as well. Fanatics, every time I jump on his channel, these exact same names are on Wise Up TV as well. And like, our supporter base doesn't just support one channel, it supports every Warriors channel. And I think it's the best in the competition right now. So thank you so much, guys, for just always supporting Warriors content. You guys make it possible for us to do what we do currently and continue to help us to do what we do currently. So appreciate all you guys.
Yeah, well said. Well, Hold the Ball, what are your thoughts there on that great comment there?
So this is what it must feel like to be a fan, eh? Ash, well said, brother. Well said. I was sitting back just like, whoa, this is what it feels like to be a fan. So huge compliments. And look, I don't want to add anything to that, with all due respect.
Yeah.
But I will say, keep RTS at center. Absolutely. But yeah, well, so yeah, that was cool. Thank you.
Chop my bro. You're the OG, bro. You're the OG.
Definitely. And Richard's saying good stuff, Ash. Good points. And Bob, yeah, all good, guys. You're great.
Job,
so
Bobby.
Appreciate that, Bob. Yeah. So yeah, if your viewers, make sure you do give that live stream a like. Click that thumbs up button, and don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel and go and subscribe to Ash, and Hold the Ball as well. They do some great stuff, great content. Ash is also on Wise Up, so go and give the bro Wise Up a follow and subscribe as well. I really appreciate him for inviting me on his channel the other night, and it was great to be on the show, All You Can Eat Warriors, and it's quite a very good show and very popular show, and he and Ash are doing a great job of what they do on that channel as well. So go and check that out as well. Go and check them out there on the Wise Up podcast, Wise Up TV. So with that out of the way, the squad.
Fanatics, sorry, apologies.
Yep,
I just want to say quick. I'm hearing something. It sounds like jets flying through. What's happening?
Jets?
No way.
Yeah, just something's been. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think you guys can hear it as well.
Jeez.
These jets flying. Fanatics, can you please tell us why on earth am I hearing jets? What's happening? What's going on?
I honestly don't know. I honestly don't know why I'm hearing jets. I can hear it in the background. They're very loud, very noisy, and my ears are really ringling from jets. So we'll talk about it. We'll actually talk about it now. Actually, we'll give a bit of a reaction to this news that broke today. Massive news. The younger brother of Nathan Cleary, the son of Ivan Cleary, Jet Cleary. That's right. It's called Jet Cleary. He's 19 years old. That's why we brought up the sentiment about Jets. So, yeah, he signed on a 3-year deal from 2025 next season. So good thing is this news has actually been confirmed, so we can actually react how we think of this news. So, yeah, hold the ball. We'll go to you first, and then I'll go to Ash. What are your thoughts here on the news in regards to Jet Cleary signing with the Warriors, the young brother of Nathan Cleary there?
Yeah, look, first word, wow. Just wow.
Yeah.
Speechless. Honestly, how we even managed to grab someone of that talent. First, I just need to go back to obviously the dynasty that is Nathan Cleary and his father. And I'm assuming this doesn't happen if Ivan Cleary doesn't give it the tick. That's just the reality, right?
Yeah.
If Ivan Cleary doesn't trust Webby, this doesn't happen. So it's not only obviously big ups to Ivan, but it's also big ups to Webby and co. What we're doing, and again touching back on the development, our system, our pathways, it all connects, intertwines. So again, for him to come in, man, it shows a huge trust in what we're doing. But first and foremost, just wow, this is a big deal. It is, it's an upcoming talent who was born in New Zealand. I need to remind you guys.
Yeah.
he was born in New Zealand, but it's just a huge up and coming talent for the Penrith Panthers. No doubt has a big future, 100% in his career. But man, big compliments on grabbing him, and I just can't wait to see him wear the Warriors jersey, whatever, whether it's first grade or in the reserves, doesn't matter to me. But the fact that he put pen to paper, wants to come over, again, huge raps to him. But yeah, again, just got to go back quickly to Webby and co. Right? If they don't do that work, the hard yakka, McFadden, all that stuff, we probably don't get him.
Yeah.
Obviously, yeah. And again, Ivan Cleary trusts what we do.
Yep.
And man, I'm so stoked, but I just don't want people to forget the bigger context here that's at play. But stoked, bro, stoked.
Yep.
Yeah,
Ash, what do you
unreal.
reckon? What are your thoughts there?
Unreal.
Yeah.
Unreal, brother. Unreal. Like, if you think about it, like this is a guy that we have wanted to get for a little while now. There's been rumors of us, trying to get him earlier on to pair up with Luke Hansen when we brought those boys over. And, we were unable to get it done back then. But we stuck at it and it ended up happening finally. And, also just shows like volumes of like where the club's at the moment. And someone like Ivan Cleary can trust us with his son over here in the Warriors and know that developing wise, we can develop him into something special. Obviously the Panthers, a lot of the news come out, they reckon they weren't really happy with his development and stuff. But overall, I think that he's got a lot of potential. Like every highlight I've seen him, every little like clip I've seen him moves a lot like Nathan. Got a really nice running game on him and that. So I'm really excited to see what the Warriors do, especially with their paws on him. With SJ and Stacey at the club, I'm sure those boys will have a lot of experience to really give a lot of knowledge to him. Even Tomaide, with all the experience that he's been through, especially injury history and that, like he's got such a good base of support under him, and definitely our future. And can you imagine, guys? There's an ability. There's a possibility that Nathan Cleary will verse Jet Cleary in an international game. There's a possibility in that. New Zealand versus Australia, Jet Cleary and Nathan Cleary. I know it might be too early to say Jet Cleary might play for the Kiwis and that, but could you imagine if that was ever to happen? That's an unreal thought. But it would be still really great to see him in that Warriors jersey and taking on Nathan, and hopefully pipping Nathan on the big stage in a Warriors jersey and being like, Nathan, this could have been you, brother. This could have been you.
Yeah, well said there. So we'll pop into the chat and get their comments, but I'll give my thoughts here. So basically, look, I think it's great signing by the Warriors, especially a young player, 19 years old. You got to remember Jet Cleary, and look, there's a lot of raps on him through the junior ranks, being part of that Penrith system for a number of years. If you sign a player like Jet Cleary from the Penrith system, there's got to be high regards on him, as a good player. So I think the Warriors will know what they're doing here as a club to sign someone like Jet Cleary, because, if they didn't think he was good, they wouldn't sign him. So basically, I think it's good stuff there. Warriors are thinking about the future. And I'm just thinking about it now because Sean Johnson, he's not going to be around forever. Tamari Martin, he's not going to be around forever as well. You've got Metcalf. Don't forget Metcalf. We've re-signed him this year as well. We've re-signed him a couple of months ago, and that's great for the club as well. So just thinking about it, the future and the young talent, and bringing someone like Jet Cleary from Australia to New Zealand, that you generally look at it a couple of years ago and you think that's never going to happen. The Warriors are never going to be in a position where they can attract these young players from Australia who've played in good systems to come over to play for the Warriors. But now we've been able to do that, and that's credit to the club. Credit to the club, then Webby, Andrew McFadden, Cameron George, the CEO, Mark Robinson, the owners. So it's a credit to them. They're the people behind the scenes that get this stuff done to be able to attract these sort of players to the club. And the club's now heading in the positive direction. I think it is for the future. We've got our pathways team. We've got our base now to work through. And I think it's just a great sign in general. But just going through the chat here, so say hello to CJ Moxley. He says, "Hey lads, hope you're doing well. Good to see you, CJ. Hope you're doing well yourself. Looking forward to catching up real soon." But Mel's saying, "Yeah, Jet has some talent. Big raps on him. Thanks, Ivan and Jazz. True, Uncle Ivan." And also CJ saying, "Yeah, only 19, has plenty of time to develop well and a good signing. Wires Up TV, preach, hold the ball. Jet, he's got the Jet emotions there, so preach there." And Richard's saying, "Yeah, get that young Jet Cleary, a nice Kiwi girl and a missus.
I love this
Then we'll keep him." And we'll get more like little Kiwi Clearys. So, great comment there. Really great comment.
That's unreal.
That's an awesome comment. And Naz is saying a Jet could possibly play for the Kiwis, right? But sure, he will want a state of the fish, but being given the hardwood from Ivan to bodyguard. And Wires Up TV, I hope he's not a spy for Ivan. Absolutely. Hopefully not. Hopefully he's here for a couple of years and he stays, but Almeida is laughing at that. Quite funny. So, I think it's just brilliant. It's just brilliant. This way to sum it up is it's great. And we're looking for the future. The future is looking very bright for the Warriors. And speaking of another signing, and we had that massive signing last week. What are you guys' thoughts here on this one? This is one of the biggest signings in the club history, in my personal opinion, and it came out of absolutely nowhere. I went off the social media for a bit, came on and had a look at my phone, and there it was, James Fisher-Harris. James Fisher-Harris, unbelievable. My reaction was I was just shocked. I couldn't believe it. First things I thought, I need to check the date, make sure it's not April Fool's. I needed to make sure it's not another April Fool's joke, or is it April Fool's already? I had to check, and it was confirmed. The Warriors signed James Fisher-Harris, and on compassionate grounds, he wants to go back to New Zealand because of family reasons. First things first, we'll go to Ash first and then hold the ball. So we'll go the other way around. Ash, what are your thoughts on the Fisher-Harris news, man? It's bloody brilliant. Awesome. A great leader, great player, and one of the best forwards in the NRL at the moment. What are your thoughts here on the Fisher-Harris news?
Yeah, 100% agree, bro. I don't think I could say anything different comparatively to what everyone else is saying in the competition right now. It's like when we were losing AFB, there's only a couple of humans in the world that we can either fill in that role and just be like, he's going to do a job. Fisher-Harris has just come in and gone, yeah, all right, I'll be that guy. Hold my beer. So, I really appreciate him coming home and all that. And really suits our system down to the ground, especially, we play a very, defensive, attacking defense sort of type of system that is just all Fisher-Harris. The aggression that he has, him and Mitch Barnett up front next year. Oh, bro, if there's any front row in the competition right now is quaking in their boots, I could completely understand with you right now. Bro, he's going to be absolutely incredible. So, future captain for sure. All those good things. Tell me how many times in our history that we have just signed a Golden Boot winner, a Kiwi captain. Just a really, really incredible signing overall with the Warriors. And I was the same boat as you, Fanatics, bro. When I saw the news, I was like, before that, actually, me and the bro were going through who we could replace AFB with, and we're going through the rest of the competition. I was like, we got younger juniors and that, but who do we want to sign? Leo Thompson is someone is Griffin Neem, 100%. Did not even take a look at Fisher-Harris. And then to see that signing, I walked out and I was like, did we pick this guy? And he's like, no way. So amazing, bro. Amazing. Hold the ball. What do you reckon?
Yeah, look, again, I think one of the things I liked about the signing was, well, from my end anyway, I didn't even get an inkling. No inkling, no nothing that he was going to be signed. There was no clue, zero. And just the way it was done, apparently Cameron George flew over there to Sydney one day, signed it, come back basically the same day as well. So it was in and out business there. But again, huge compliment, you know, three-time premiership, 3 in a row time premiership winner, apologies. Still at the peak of his powers, still has so much to give, 28 years old, you know, and we've got him for 4 years. There's so much there he can give. For me, it's him coming in. I think obviously it's good for us, but again, think about the other players, the experience, you know, that they can get from him. Someone of his ilk is really hard to come by at the Warriors, you know, honestly. And for him to come in there, it's just going to be a huge boost and compliment. And again, him and Barnett to, next year going to be so good. But love the signing. And just quickly before I finish, it's a good signing too, but it also probably makes me think, will there possibly be, you know, sort of other signings as well next season? Possibly. But in saying that, I'll leave that for another discussion. But again, so good to have him over, and how beautiful. So yeah, keen.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah. So it's pretty much summed up a pretty good week. Bearing obviously that result against the Dragons, unfortunately, which came a way to shallow the week. But anyway, so yeah, Fisher Harris, man, it's just bloody brilliant is all I got to say. And I feel like that's just going to add plenty to the 4-pack. We've lost Adam Fanua-Bacon. We know that's a massive loss. Seeing him go at the end of the season, and you know, having someone like a Fisher Harris at your club, that adds plenty to the table. So Fisher Harris and that, and you got some of those young players will get to, you know, be able to learn off Fisher Harris and see him around at the club. And the most interesting thing is now with the Sean Johnson. There's a bit of news in regards to Sean Johnson and reports that he's talking to his manager. What do you guys reckon here? I think he's going around one more season, personally. I think I could see him going around one more year. Hold the ball, what do you reckon here? Sean Johnson, 1 more year or 2 more years? Or what do you reckon last year will be his... I said last year would be his last year, but he was so good, being so good and performed so well that he enjoyed the season to date, and you know he hanged around. So what do you reckon that next year he might sign till next year and then get another year, or last year for him next 2025?
Yeah, look, I'm probably going to play it safe here. I'm not going to speculate. What I will say though is, whatever he wants to do, he deserves it. He deserves it. What he wants to do, whether it's 1 year, whether it's no more years, whatever happens will happen. But just appreciating the time we have them. So I think that's probably the card I'm going to play with this one here, Fanatics.
Yeah, I agree. I got to back on top of, like, you know, if it's going to be 1 year at a time, just continue to run it out until Shawnee is, like, you know, had enough. And, you know, he's in amazing form currently right now. And if he was to say go one more time, I don't think any fan out there would jump up and down and be like, no way, man, no way. Like, he's playing great footy. As long as his body holds up, hopefully these Achilles injuries and all that sort of stuff, like the tenderness he's having currently right now, isn't too much of a problem. But a lot of that, you know, he's been around the competition for a long time now, and hopefully we can send him off with a premiership, at least one for the boys, one for the boys.
Yeah. Well, one premiership would do pretty well. Definitely, definitely would love to see Sean get that premiership for the Warriors, and yeah, that'd be awesome. But just moving on now, so we'll have a look into these games coming up. Just want to give you guys thoughts on those games, and then we'll have just a quick look at the Titans game, and your tips for the other Anzac Day rounds before we finish off. So we'll get into it. So this week we've got the Titans this week, round 8. So that's on Anzac Day tomorrow. Then round 9 we've got the Knights in Newcastle, and then we've got the Roosters in round 10, and then we got the Panthers in Magic round in Brisbane, which I'll be attending. And then we got the Dolphins at home there. So what do you guys reckon there? Before we got the bye, then we got our first bye in round 13. So what do you reckon we should be targeting in terms of wins for each of those games? And look, no team's easy in the competition. Don't get me wrong. It's the NRL, and anyone can beat anyone on their day. We've seen that. We saw that last week with the Dragons beating the Warriors down there in Wollongong. You know, anything can happen. But what do you guys reckon there in terms of wins for those next couple of fixtures, what do you reckon should be a name and a pass mark before we head into that first bye? Ash, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I'd love to see us. The first two, obviously, on paper they should be wins. I don't want to, like, if there's any Titans fans and Knights fans out there, I apologize to be that guy, but it should be like, if we're going to be a top 14, these are the teams we should be getting over the top of as well. So I agree with that overall. Like, I know the Titans are so desperate for a win and all that, but we need to be very solid as a unit and get over the top of teams like this coming off, major losses, back to back, trying to get a win. We need to keep these guys away. So definitely 2 wins there. The other 2 are definitely ones that I would have circled to start the season, of like ones we needed to win. Me and Levon have been speaking about that. Obviously, we want, the Rabbitohs was the first one. Well, no, Melbourne was the first one for me where I was like, I wanted us to get over Melbourne. Melbourne's always been a team that's like, we need to get over the top of them and see where our season's at. Wasn't able to be, but we had an amazing performance. So we move on to the Rabbitohs. We got over the Rabbitohs. Beautiful. All right. Even though the Rabbitohs haven't gone well, they're still the Rabbitohs on paper. We had circled it. We got it done. Okay, beautiful. The Roosters. The Roosters are another team we struggle with all the time. We struggle with the Roosters. Yeah. That's a big one that, currently right now, they're still trying to figure out their system. Still, they've got a lot of guns that they've got to put into different areas. And Trent's still trying to figure out what's the perfect team. What's the perfect half combination. There's still many things going on there. So there's a chance that we can get over the top of them, but obviously injuries is what's going to hurt us really coming into that game. But the big one to circle is the Panthers, especially in Magic Round. Top performance, really go at, Fisher's going to be up against Adam Fanor-Blake, the guy that we're replacing him with. And that, I think, the storylines are all over that matchup, especially if we were able to get a lot of our boys back off injury. Obviously, if Jazzy was able to come back, and that, I feel like that might be a little bit early for Jazzy, even though it says round 11 on the NRL list or whatever. If he comes back by then, amazing. Have that with Dylan Walker. That's the big one I want to circle. So at the moment, I think like a realistic view would be, 2-2, 3-1 would be for me. Like the Roosters are the big one where it could go either way for me. And the Panthers is one that's like going to be really tough. I just want to see the boys get over the top of it before I'm going to say we're going to beat the Panthers overall. So nice little run here where we can prove that we're really top-fledged, top of the competition type of team. It's just the boys have got to get it done, even with the injury troll and all that. I want to see them stand up in these moments here.
Yeah, hold the ball. What do you reckon here?
Yeah, look, not too much to say there. After what Ash has said, because I completely agree. But I would like to say in an ideal, sort of a situation for us, one loss would be great in this run. Just one loss. Unfortunately, probably looking at it would be the Panthers. But in saying that, it is what it is. However, look, if we could even have one loss there, it's all good. Yeah. I do see us winning, again, with all due respect, if we are serious, winning our first 2 games. Roosters, it'll be a good tester. Panthers, again, good test. But to finish up the Dolphins, if we can beat them as well, would be great. But maybe it's asking a bit too much, but I don't think so. I'm trusting the boys to back it up. So one loss in this run, why not?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, for me, just looking at it, I think personally, those two games coming up, and look, no disrespect to the Titans and Newcastle, but those are the 2 games we really should be winning. The Knights, obviously, without Ponga, which is a huge blow for them. They're going to be missing him for the next couple of months. It's a massive blow, especially for the Knights. But the game against the Knights and Newcastle, generally, our record there in Newcastle isn't the greatest, but we should be able to beat the Knights based on the team that we've got. And the Titans at home tomorrow, we should win that game. Really, if we don't win that game, I'll be no doubt disappointed. But we win those 2 games. Yep, that's 2 wins. The Roosters will be tough in Sydney. We know we don't have the greatest run against the Roosters, especially we saw last year. We came quite close actually against the Roosters. We're quite competitive, but the Roosters still got the job done. It's all that matters. They got the job done. They got the result against us. So, look, the Roosters are a little bit up and down at the moment. They're a little bit up and down. Really hard to get a read on them. But at home, you'd think they'd be favourites for sure in that one. But the Panthers game, that will be difficult. That will be real difficult against the Panthers. That will be a massive test. If we can come out of that game really competitive, run it close, I wouldn't be too disappointed personally. But of course, I'd love to see us beat Penrith. Don't get me wrong, but look, realistically, I think Penrith at the moment are are showing why they're one of the best teams in the comp at the moment, just based on the last couple of years, based on the last couple of years. And then the Dolphins, I think that's winnable too. So basically I'm saying we'll beat the Knights, beat the Titans, so that's 2 wins. We'll beat the Dolphins at home, and I think we'll probably lose to Penrith and probably the Roosters, but that's how I see it. So, I mean, it wouldn't be too bad. I mean, a couple wins, a couple losses there, but overall, I think that's how I think we will set up for the bye, after the bye, and then obviously look at the bye. We've got the Cowboys afterwards down at Townsville, and I think that game will be really interesting to see how the Cowboys go, because they're a little bit up and down too, the Cowboys at the moment. So
100%.
Yeah, Naz is saying here, and fuck no, disrespect them, get to slamming the doors again. Fuck the Titans, disrespecting. Yeah. So the Titans, I went and watched them on the weekend against Manly at Seabus with the lads there, and Nick and Pro Enzo Vids there, and watched that game, and the Titans defense. It's just, I think that could be targeted tomorrow in that game, but. Moving on, so that is it. So we'll just look into the game now. So the Anzac Day clash tomorrow against the Titans against the Warriors. So at Go Media Mount Smart Stadium. So basically, this is our first Anzac Day clash at home since 2015. It's been a while between drinks for us at home in Anzac Day clashes as well. I know we've always been playing the Melbourne Storm, and generally against the Storm, we've had some very tough games and some disappointing ones at that, with the scorelines blown out. But hold the ball. What do you reckon this game? Look, I personally feel like we should win this comfortably, but I want to be wary at the same time, because this Titans team have actually shown some improvement over the past couple of weeks.
100%.
They've definitely shown some improvement, so you have to give a bit of respect there for the Titans there. Obviously, that heartbreaking loss to the Raiders down in Canberra, bit of controversy there involved. Some of the calls, and then they lost to Manly, where they probably could have won that game against Manly. So, besides that start to the season, the first couple of games, they've actually shown a bit of improvement lately. Look, we've got some players back. We've got some injuries. We've got Chance, having his 100th game this week, 100th NRL game. He's achieving a milestone. We've got some debuts as well. We've got Zion Ma'u off the bench. We've got Jacob Laban making his first start this year. So what do you reckon here? Hold the ball first. What do you reckon there on this one? I think we look at our team. We have the quality on paper. Our forward pack's great. We've got a great back five. Our bench is really interesting, to say the least. Can't wait to see Zion make his debut off the bench. It'll be interesting to see how many minutes he gets as well. And Jacob Laban, he's going to be tested. He's going to be tested in this game, his first start. So what do you reckon? Hold the ball. What are your thoughts? How do you feel this game's going to go? I think.
Yeah, look, I'll try and make this as succinct as possible.
Yep.
I'm sure we're all aware of the team lineup, so I'm not going to go through it. But you sort of touched on the bench there. Looking at it again, particularly with Paul Roach, I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe Ali Leotawa, maybe even Adam Pompey, possibly.
Yep.
So that's probably the only question mark I have there. Zion Ma'u, it's going to be great to see him debut. I cannot wait. He's a strong fella. I'll tell you what, though, my only question with him is, will he get too aggressive? And that's probably it. That's the only question I have for him, because I don't doubt his commitment, his strength, his power, all that stuff. But is he going to be too aggressive sometimes? That's it. That's all. But yes, look, you touched on the Titans, and obviously they've had it hasn't been a great run, but we can't let that be, we can't listen to that music. We can't let that be the pressure for us. We got to ignore that completely. We need to play our game and not worry about them and their troubles. It's clear they want to win. They're here to spoil our party. But in saying that, though, I'm fully invested and I fully back the boys to get the job done there. But in saying that, again, looking at the bench, keen, love it. But I'm backing us to win for sure.
Awesome. Ash?
Yeah, off the back of that, bro. Very, very similar thoughts to hold the ball overall. By the stats and all that on paper, this should be a win. All that sort of stuff. Obviously, emotion's a very different thing. You can't really test emotion, how much other team wants it, just as much as what we will. And I think we'll definitely be up for this one as well. Having a first Anzac game at home for as you said, since 2015. That's a long time, man. And it's so good to see that we're finally getting one back at home and that. And I'm sure the boys will be up with it. The crowd's sold out. We're having a massive ceremony. There's going to be a lot of emotion in the air. chances 100th game. There's a lot to play for there. So that's a big thing that's going to also helps us, continue the high intensity and all that. But by the stats, obviously, overall, we are like the best team in the competition by run meters per average per game. And the Titans are last in this category, so they are struggling to get down the upper end, especially with their forwards. Missing Tino is a big one. And, they actually concede the most run meters in the competition right now. So, it all on paper says the way that we should be able to get down there and as much as we can. And now it's really up to our combinations and how they stick and really try to strip apart the Titans. The Titans are still conceding about 30 points per game. I tried to do a 3-game rolling average to see how much form the Titans are coming into this one. They're still conceding a 30-point per game average in their overall season. They can concede 30 points per game. So they haven't changed defensively yet. But in attack, they actually have they've put a couple of strings into their bow, and they're actually scoring 24 points per game at the moment in their last 3 games, which is definitely up from their average overall, which is 15. And the first 3 weeks of the season, they were only averaging 6 points per game. So they definitely come there a long way with their attack. They're scoring a lot more points, but if you look at us, we're very consistent. We're a consistent side. Beat them with our defense, get good field position, and just do all the little things like we've done all through the season. If there's any team for our game plan to really work wonders on, it's like a team like the Titans. I think the other thing is, when we have moments where it doesn't go our way, we don't need to put our heads down at all. We've had moments of that this year, and then we have to chase our tail later on in the game when we do get our tails up. This is up where I'm hoping a game like the Rabbits game, where from start to finish, we consistently all the way there, and the points will come, whether start, middle, or late, they will come. So just stick on the train. But obviously, shout out to the Titans fans out there. A little bit of positivity that your attack's coming away, but just got to fix that defense for the Titans. Like 30 points per game is a massive defensive lapse there. So, the Warriors should be able to get over the top of here.
Yep. Well said to you guys both there. And I agree that we should, this game really should be a bounce back. And the boys, we really hungry to bounce back after that, showing against the Dragons the previous week. And I think they'll be really up for this one. Big occasion, massive occasion. Hopefully, we handle it well. Generally in the past, the Warriors, when it comes to big occasion, we haven't been able to handle the big occasion. But hopefully, we can handle it. And get back to the way we were playing before. Get back to the way we're playing. Obviously, the attack is still a little bit of a concern for me at the moment. We've had our opportunities. Where we've had a lot of ball and we've not been able to take a lot of those opportunities. And we saw that against the Sharks, saw that against the Dragons early on. What are your thoughts here, Ash, on this one? The scoring opportunities. Our defence has been great, albeit last week. It was both areas of the game that we weren't good in. But what do you reckon there, Ash, on this one? Hopefully we can pile on some points here this one.
Yeah, as I keep kind of come back to, I think, our attack will come when our combinations sort of grow. And hopefully, with the more weeks of Wade Egan, Tamide, and Shawnee with Chance out the back, they should be able to stick a lot more, opportunities than what they had to start the season. When we started the season, there was a lot of moments where we've busted through that first line. We get a mad line break, and that last pass doesn't go our way. There's been multiple times, even in a Dragons game. There's been a couple of moments in that Dragons game where we looked like we stripped them on the edge. It just felt like the last pass either didn't go their way, or Dallin didn't really like what he saw on the edge, try to cut back on the inside. A lot of big moments like that happened in that game as well. So, touching on our 3-game rolling average, we're actually scoring more points per game in our last 3-game average, but that's mainly because of that Rabbitohs game. That Rabbitohs game really helps our average there. If you take that out, this is not adding in the game before either. I would love to redo my stat there overall, but 18 points per game, which is just down on our average of this season, which is 20.6. And I did a little stat earlier on too. We actually aren't too bad in attack currently right now. We score on average more tries than the Melbourne Storm currently right now, which is a mental stat to think about. Not a lot of people really know that. And we're right about where the Panthers are currently right now. The Panthers are 8th in the competition, or 9th at the moment in the competition for tries scored per game. We are around 10th, and the Melbourne Storm are 12th. which is mental to think about, right? So just trusting the boys, trusting the process. I think a lot of it has come down to missed combinations and the amount of different looks we've actually had in each game, because that's one thing we can probably touch on. To start the season, we could probably count that many different combinations we've run out there with. We haven't stuck solid for a good 3 to 4 game average. I think this is the first time in a while that we've had, we've had Egan, we've had Tomaide, Shawnee, and Chansey. So hopefully it becomes dividends later on. So, yeah.
Yep. Well said. What about, you got anything else to add there and hold the ball on that one? What do you reckon?
No, not too. Yeah, look, not too much, but I think just going around the general theme here that Ash has been talking about, consistency, and look, it hasn't helped obviously with injuries and stuff like that. But again, we just got to make do what we have. So hopefully, again, we can just see that play out on the field there tomorrow.
Exactly.
Yep, and hello to Jacko. Jacko's joined in here in the chat. We've got a loyal viewer to the channel, and he's here. So Foreign shut on us as we helped him through toughest times and left ASAP when recovered. So I think he's talking about Foreign there. But anyways, fair enough, fair opinion. But so what are you guys' prediction? What do you reckon here? Just what are your prediction for this one? What do you go with, a score margin, a try score? What do you reckon for this one? Warriors and Titans.
Yeah, bro, at the moment, my head's around that 28 to 12, 28 to 14 look. I think the Titans will be able to get some points on us. And mainly for the Titans, they would be trying to get at Jacob Laban as early because they got David Fifita on that side. So that's a massive test for Jacob Laban. His first starting game in NRL is going up against one of the best edge back rollers in the competition of the last 5 years or so. So it's going to be a big test there, but hopefully the boys get around him, help him as much as he can. And for us, I feel like, I'm pretty sure last time I checked the stats there too, the Titans' worst defensive side is currently that left-hand side, which is up against our right-hand side. So all the stats sway the way of us looking like we should be able to get it done on that right side. So Dallin, anytime try scorer, hopefully he's at some good dollars there. Obviously probably won't, because I think we're $1.20 favorites or whatever coming into this game. But 28 to 14 around that look, I'm thinking.
Yep. Hold the ball. What do you reckon prediction was?
Yep. Look, I'll get straight into it. Warriors 13 plus. I reckon I'm gonna go crazy here. I reckon Warriors 38, Titans 12. That's what I think. I think.
Love it.
I think we're hurting from that Dragons loss, and we're going to see a big bounce back. And obviously, why not on an occasion such as this? Anytime try scorer, I love saying it. I'll say it again, Rocco Berry. So let's bring it on. Up the wires.
The man Rocco Berry, the man himself, Rocco Berry. Me and Hold the Ball, presidents of the Rocco Berry fan club. So we love Rocco Berry. So Jacko's saying Foreign was on fire last week. We must contain him with hard pressure. Look, I'm not too. I think he's a good player, but I'm not too really worried about him. But he's definitely the key. He's definitely the key player for the Titans. And David Fifita as well. He's finally they got him starting. It's about time the Titans actually started him and not put him on the bench. It's about time they made that decision. So Jacko's saying I feel the Titans are very close to their first win. So this is a real danger game. I do agree. In that sentiment that it is a dangerous game, and we as Warriors fans shouldn't underestimate the Titans. We shouldn't underestimate them. But in saying that, they're not growing great this year. So realistically, when they're not going great, when the team's down the bottom, we really should be beating them. So, but they have been so close to their first win. They're really close. They're getting really close. But hopefully it's not this week. Really, fingers crossed there. But Jazz saying huge danger game there. So I agree. So Warriors for me win. I'll go Warriors 42 to 16. I think we got some points in us. I think we finally got some points in us, and I think we'll do it against this Titans side. Now, the Titans will score some points early on in this one, but I think the Warriors will outclass them and get that 42 to 16 win to get back in the winner's circle at home in front of the home fans. And I think we're singing the team song at the ground afterwards at the stadium and the stands as well. So Warriors 42-16. Anytime try scorers, I'll go Dallin. DWZ to score. And also I'm going to go with Wade Egan from dummy half. Yep. To score as well. So Warriors to win for me. Yep, they will get the job done and get that win and bounce back from that result against the Dragons. But moving on, so we'll just go through quickly all the other games just quickly to wrap it up. So just a tip and a prediction. So Dragons Roosters is the other game. So that game's at Allianz Stadium in Sydney. Dragons, Roosters. Dragons getting the win last week, obviously, against us. And the Roosters. Forwards, what are your thoughts here on this one? Dragons, Roosters. Just a quick tip.
Yeah, I have a feeling the Dragons might be able to get over the Roosters here. I feel like the Roosters, they brought back Sammy Walker into the lineup. They still haven't connected too well, Sammy Walker and Luke Keary. And the Dragons are flying at the moment, especially coming off a win against us. And it'd be good to see the Dragons get over the top of the Roosters there at Anzac Day. And they've always turned up on Anzac Day. And Jaden Sewer, I'm hoping him having a cracker of a game here.
Yep. Hold the ball.
Yeah, for me, I've gone for the upset tip here, or maybe it isn't. But just with the Roosters troops coming back in there, I want to go with Roosters there, 6-12. Look, the Dragons are incredible, but I just feel like if there was any team that wanted to spoil the party, the Roosters know how to do it. They've done it before many times, but I'm backing them to do it. Tomorrow.
Yeah, for me, I'm going to go with the Roosters to win this one, but I think it'd be very close. I think the Dragons, they're more than capable of pulling something out of the bucket there. So Dragons for me, I'm going to go. Roosters for me. Sorry, Roosters. I went with Roosters to win by 4. Roosters to win this one, but wouldn't be surprised. I really wouldn't be surprised if the Dragons got up. Being it always is a close game between those two sides, regardless of form and ladder positions. So yeah, Roosters to win for me, but I'm also hoping for a Dragons win. Secretly, because I'm stuffed the Roosters. But anyway, the next game sees the Storm and the Rabbitohs. So that game is also tomorrow. So we've got 3 games on Saturday, 3 games on the Thursday, which is you don't often see. Not 3 games on the Thursday, but being as Anzac Day is a massive day. Then we've got the 3 games. The Warriors are the early game as well. So yeah, Storm and the Rabbitohs. Man, it's really odd saying Storm and Rabbitohs on Anzac Day. It really is odd. Very odd to say it. I'm trying to get used to it. But it's in Melbourne, Amy Park. I just think this is going to be tall order for the Bunnies. They're not in great form this year. There's been a lot of talks around the coach and a lot of stuff around that too. But I think the Storm will win, and I think they'll do it well. Unfortunately for Souths there. Good luck to Souths, but I think Storm will probably be just too good. I'm going to say Storm 13+. Yeah, what about you, Ash?
Yeah, to be honest, like whatever your thoughts on Latrell overall is, no matter what. But if Latrell was playing in this game, I would sniff an upset, in my opinion. Latrell's not playing in this game, obviously, suspended in that. Got to go Melbourne here, unfortunately. I think Jai Gray is an incredible talent, incredible player in that, but the Rabbits just struggling at the moment to get it all together. Latrell always brought that little bit of edge, especially going down to Melbourne and stuff. He's done it multiple times against Melbourne and just been one of those players that stand up in the big moments. But this is what happens when things like this happen on the field. You get suspended and, the boys are costing that at the moment. So I'm going to go Melbourne 13+ here.
Yep. I'll follow Ash there. Storm 13+. Coach there to score a magic trick.
Ooh. A magic
like
trick,
that.
That's a very good prediction. Yeah. So Jacko is saying his Storm will hit more points. Oh no, Dimitri. Yeah. I'm still surprised he's still coaching. I'm still surprised he's still coaching South this week. Really surprised by that. But Storm for me just will be too good. They'll be too strong. And Friday night got the Seagulls, Parramatta Eels. So Seagulls, Parramatta. Parramatta, another team under a bit of a cosh at the moment and the pressure. And their coach Brad Arthur's come out last week and labelled his team a schoolboy team, which I found very bizarre and odd. Don't know why he did that, but anyways, Manly won last week. Not the best of games for Manly defensively. But they've been pretty good this season, Manly. They have actually been pretty good during that Dragons game. Obviously, that Dragons game where they probably should have won. But what do you reckon here, Ash? Seagulls, Parramatta. Do you think Parramatta can bounce back, get a bit of revenge on the Seagulls from the last time they played each other, or Manly too good at home?
Yeah, I feel like, for me, if this was, early on in the season, Parramatta getting the dub over there at CommBank Stadium and stuff, and this is where it looks like for me, if it was played at CommBank, I would probably sniff a little bit of an upset here, even though the Eels are down on form, because at CommBank, they kind of just find themselves there. I think the crowd, the energy that the Para fans bring, like kind of get them home a little bit more at home. But Manly at Four Pines is like a tough task for any team. Four Pines is like a fortress. It's really tough to get there and get a good win. So I'm going to go Manly here, and probably by a margin, by 13 plus, in my opinion.
Yep. Yeah, look, it's not often early in the season you sort of see more than, I suppose, one or even two teams sort of sink. We're seeing it with the Titans, the Rabbitohs, and unfortunately Eels as well. I don't think they're going to come back from this one here. And for me, it's going to be Sea Eagles. I reckon they'll be fuming with their win there against Titans. Despite it being a win, DCE sort of summed it up saying, look, we'll just take the points and go home. That's it. Enough said. So I think it'll be a 13 plus. And I reckon Subs in, eh? I reckon Subs will score a try.
Yeah, I like
Subs.
Oh, yep. Seagulls for me. Seagulls probably by one. I'm going to go actually a bit closer than what people expect. I'm going to go with 1 to 12 there. Yeah, Seagulls 1 to 12 at home there. I think Parramatta will show a bit of fight from that loss last week against the Dolphins, which they were very disappointing. Disappointing performance by them. And I know there's a lot of talk around it. The Eels and Brad Arthur, if he's under pressure, I think he's definitely under pressure. Even though there's no Moses, you still can't rely on one player. You got to, the whole team's got to perform, and they're not performing at the moment. So, Seagulls will win for me, but the Eels will give it a crack. They'll definitely give it a crack this week. So, yeah. And in the next game, the next game's on Saturday. So, you got the West Tigers and the Broncos. Look, for me, it's Broncos. I don't really need to go in depth with my pick here. Broncos easily. Broncos 13 plus. I just don't see the Tigers doing anything here. But hold the ball. What do you reckon?
I've been pretty impressed with the Tigers season thus far, despite it being up and down. I wouldn't say I would have tipped them, but I wouldn't have been surprised with an upset sniff. But then I saw Payne Haas being named, and I was like, nah.
Exactly.
Nah. Forget about it. So, look, it's Broncos all the way. Look, I reckon 13 plus. They don't have their strongest troops just yet. Obviously, unfortunately, Cobbo and who else?
Mam.
Sorry. Yeah. Mam are out, but Broncos too strong. And Payne Haas, my goodness. My goodness.
What a beast for the middle, huh? What a beast. For me, bro, honestly, I was sniffing an upset all the way, exactly the same as you hold the ball. I was going to be like, I honestly thought that the Tigers played amazing last week against the Panthers. Obviously, the scoreboard didn't show that, and obviously the Panthers took over the game late, and I wanted to bring it home. But very early on in the game, I thought the Tigers were doing really, really well. But I think the inclusion of Adam Reynolds and Payne Haas back into the Broncos, even though losing Ezra Mam and Selwyn Cobbo, like the strike that came back with the Dean Mariners of the world and the Brendan Piacortas of the world, like that's kind of edging me more back towards the Broncos. And usually the Broncos, if they're going to win, they usually win well. I'm going to go to Broncos 13 plus here. But shout out to the Tigers. I actually think they were in for a good season. Honestly, if Reynolds was out for another week, even with those other boys that were named, if Reynolds was out for one more week here, I would have swayed the upset here. But I think Reynolds just puts them over the edge.
Yeah, well said there. I've gone with the Broncos there, 13 plus. But the Tigers have shown some improvement. They've definitely shown some improvement this season so far. And against Penrith, they didn't do too badly. The scoreline didn't show it, but their effort wasn't bad at all. So, look, I think the Broncos should be too strong. Obviously, no Ezra Man in that. That's an out in itself. But they've still got Payne Haas here. They've still got Walsh. They've still got a very good talented side. So Brisbane should be too good for the Tigers there. And then Cowboys, Panthers. Cowboys. Look, bit of an up and down sort of team. Hard team to get a read on. They're at home this week. They were really disappointing against the Sharks down in Cronulla. And the Panthers obviously getting the job done against the Tigers. So I think for me, look, Penrith will win this one comfortably, 13 plus. I just don't see how this Cowboys team are going to cope under immense pressure from the Penrith side. And with Cleary being back as well, massive in itself. So, they'll be too strong for me. Panthers 13 plus over Cows. But hoping for a competitive match, hoping for a close game, but Panthers will be too strong. So, what do you reckon there, Ash?
Yeah, I'm going to go Panthers, but I'm going to say in a closer matchup, I think it's going to be a 1-12 in my opinion, only because of like coming off the back of last week with the Cowboys, they were played well off the park. And like, Todd Payton's is obviously he's made a couple of changes here. Griffin Neem to start's a big one as well. He's obviously trying to get an injection of spark in the squad and playing at home at Townsville. I think, the Cowboys at Townsville would be hopefully up for this game against the Panthers. I can definitely see exactly what everyone's saying. 13 plus is like the one to pick usually, but I can see the Cowboys getting up for this one and getting up to a 1-12 result, still the way of the Panthers.
Yep. Yeah. Look, just to back up what Ash is saying there, I agree. I would have actually tipped the Cowboys, but again, much like Payne Haas and Reynolds, when I saw Nathan Cleary, I was like, nah, forget about it. It's Panthers for me. Look, I definitely think the Cowboys will back up their performance. Make amends with their performance from last week. But look, with Cleary in the side, there's almost no way getting past them. So Panthers for me, 1-12.
Yeah.
Yep. And Mel's saying here, Panthers 13 plus, and talking about the Tigers game before, she's saying here, would love the Tigers to win, but probably impossible against the Broncos. Yeah. So well said there. But they really should win this one, Penrith. But look, Cowboys, they'll be hoping for a better improvement in their performance, and they're at home and in Townsville, so that should really help them in a way. Penrith going from Sydney to hot Townsville, it's a really different story altogether. But hey, it's Penrith; they can win anywhere. It's Penrith.
Yeah.
That's why they're 3-time premiers for a reason. So
exactly,
and they showed that last week against the Tigers, and they've shown it over the past couple of years. So Penrith to win for me. Then we got the Sunday game, so 2 games to wrap up the round of footy, Anzac round. We've got the Dolphins versus the Knights. Dolphins, man, really impressive last week. Really impressive showing from the Dolphins. They've had a lot of injuries this season so far. Their depth has been tested, but they put on an absolute clinic against the Eels. They put on the points. And it was a great showing by the Dolphins down there in Darwin. Very hot Darwin.
Yep.
As for the Knights, look, Bulldogs, losing to the Bulldogs there. They just weren't in it for altogether. They weren't in that game at all. Knights, no Ponga. Ponga's out for the next couple of months. It's a bit of a blow for them. That's not going to help their case. I'm actually going to put a pen through them now. I know it's a bit early to be saying that, but I'm actually going to put a pen through them. I think their chance of making finals is going to be real slim. Ash, what do you reckon? Dolphins, Knights. For me, I'm going with the Dolphins here, 13 plus. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I'm jumping off on the back of that, bro. Like I think, unfortunately, the Knights are being hit really hard with Ponga going down, and that's really the key to their attack. We've seen all through the season with Ponga injured or not injured. When he's there and he's healthy to go, the Knights just hit a whole different gear. Still, to me, I don't think they ever showed any point of being like a massive contender at all. But definitely, Ponga reaches them up into that top 8 realm of round about that realm. Without Ponga, this team falls off a cliff. And just checking on if Frizzell's in this lineup as well. No Frizzell, and I think Frizzell's a huge miss. So I think people really sleep on how big Frizzell's is for the sides as well. So I'm going Dolphins 13 plus here, especially at Suncorp.
Yep, hold the ball. Yep.
Yeah, look, for me, similar to what you both have been saying, without Ponga there, he's just such an instrumental player to them. But at the same time as well, the Knights have been sort of experimenting with their halves too, and that hasn't helped. And then you throw Ponga into that mix as well, and bang, that's it. Yeah, it's chaos, and not in a good way either. So I see the Dolphins winning 13 plus. From Darwin to Brizzy, they don't care, man. They're just going to throw up their nukes, and they're ready. So Dolphins me 30 plus easy for sure.
Yeah, I just don't understand the halves situation at the Knights. They're up. They either got either Gamble playing, or they've got Cogger playing. Then they drop Cogger. It's a bit of a mess, really, what Adam O'Brien is doing with his selection there in regards to the halves, because I don't know why they dropped Cogger. I really don't know why. I don't think it was horrible the previous week, but hey, I'm not the coach. He's the coach, but yeah, it's but all over the place. They can't really find their combinations. And how are you going to perform when you can't find your consistent combinations on the field? It doesn't help at all, So, yeah, Knights are going to struggle. They're going to struggle, and the Dolphins will win this. I think they'll do. They'll put plenty of points on this Knights team. They're going to do it. So, yeah, Dolphins for me to win. And then, of course, the final game sees the Canberra Raiders take on the Sharks. Now, this is an actual game that I find quite difficult to tip. Some of the games have been quite easy to tip, but this one is actually really hard. Now, this game is in Canberra. The Sharks were impressive last week. Great win for them. The Raiders themselves coming off that loss to the Broncos, a big loss to the Broncos down there in Brisbane. And they'll be looking to bounce back. And they've generally been quite good at home this season. In Canberra, they've always been pretty good at home this season, although the last couple of years they've not been able to make that their fortress. But this year they've done pretty well at home. Yep. So hold the ball. Can Canberra win this? Obviously, Jamal Fogarty out. That's a blow. That's a big blow. He's out. Massive. So the Sharks, not too many injuries to note. Really, they're looking at full strength, I think, from what I've noticed at the moment. But
except for the 6, no Trindle.
No Trindle. Yeah, that's the other out. Unfortunately, not unfortunately. How you say it, how you think about
exactly.
What he's done. It's bad. It's just not a good look at all. Anyway, but won't be talking a lot about that one. But what do you reckon? What do you reckon? Hold the ball. Sharks, Raiders. Can the Raiders bounce back? Can they win, or are the Sharks just going to be too strong again?
Yeah, look, I've actually gone the upset tip here. I've actually tipped the Raiders. I've tipped them. One of the reasons why I've tipped them is usually after a loss, when they get back home, they usually don't perform too bad, right? From what I've seen, I'm sure the coach would have been growling him all week. I know that he would have been. And again, just being there at home, despite Fogarty being out, their forward pack should be up for it. Despite what the Sharks bring and the fact that they're, on top of the ladder, I still think I'm going to back the Raiders here for I reckon a 6-12 upset.
Ooh.
I like that. For me, bro, it was I would have backed you 100% in there, hold the ball, and I think the biggest thing for me that held me back there was Fogarty. I felt like Fogarty was up there with Shawnee for the most kick meters in the competition right now. His kicking game definitely helps the Raiders' system overall, the way they run, helps with their forwards to get down the field and do some damage. He especially gives them a lot of rest with a lot of their kicking game and that. But ideally, when Trindles fell out of the lineup and having Daniel Atkinson in there, Daniel Atkinson is a great footballer. I don't rate him as a 6. Like, he's played fullback at times. He's played multiple different positions, but watching him in trials, watching him in situations in New South Wales Cup and all that, whenever he's playing in the halves, he just at times gets I would say more run heavy. So he'll look up, but it's more so not playing out his sets and stuff. So I feel like that attack, especially on that left side, is probably where he's going to be posted up on. It's going to be a little bit more disjointed than usual. They're probably going to try to attack with Nico Hindsight and Britton Okora as much as they can. So I'm going to go 1-12 still. I think it's going to be a real tight one. Because the Raiders will always try to make it tight as much as they can, other than obviously the result with the Brisbane on the weekend and that. But the Canberra Raiders at home usually are very, very tough. And unfortunately, KO Weeks playing in that 7 role, he just doesn't have the kicking game of what Fogarty has. And I think they're definitely lost that. And I don't think there's anyone else in that lineup that's going to pick up that slack, in my opinion.
Yeah, well said there. Mel was saying tough one to predict, but I back the Sharks, although not confident. So, and hello to Jose in the chat as well. Good to see you, Jose. I hope you're doing well yourself. And for me, I'm going to go with the upset. I'm actually going to go with the upset. And I know Jamal Fogarty's out. It's a big blow. But I feel like the Raiders can do it at home, bounce back. And I think they can do it against the Sharks team. Now, the Sharks team has been great. Don't get me wrong. But, I feel like the Raiders are in for a big one. Yeah, they're in for a big one at home. So, I'll go with the Raiders here. I'll say Raiders by 4 points. 4 points.
Close one.
And a very close, tight match, I think, for me. So, Raiders to get up there. But that pretty much wraps it up. A big, long show there tonight. So, really appreciate the viewers. Appreciate Hold the Ball and Ash for jumping on. It's been a great episode. First episode of the panel show for 2024. And no doubt about it, we'll try and get both Hold the Ball and Ash back on again. And hopefully we can get Waz up on it as well together. So fingers crossed that can happen over the next couple of weeks. But it's been great having you guys on. Hold the Ball. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, look, no worries, and thanks for having me on. It was a great discussion, and I'll definitely do my best to pop up to the Wise Up show as well, bro, for sure.
You, baby.
I know he's asked me before, and I just need to try to find the time, but definitely will. Looking forward to it.
Come through, my bro. We're there to have you, man. You're the OG, bro. I'd love to have you on, 100%.
Awesome, Ash. Thanks again. I really appreciate it. It's been great having you on, and your insights on the game. I love listening to your insights on the game of rugby league, and great contribute to the show tonight. So I really appreciate it. Thanks for coming on.
No, thank you so much, my man. It's always a great pleasure to come on either of your channels, like Hold the Ball and you, Fanatics fan. Like, as I keep saying, use the OGs, use paved the way for people like me, and have always been like an inspiration. I've watched your channels most of the time, and I was like, you know what, I reckon I can try to do this, and you guys are absolutely incredible what you do. So yeah, I appreciate you guys just even having me on your show. That means the world to me, and I honestly do believe that. Like, thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks to the viewers for tuning in. We've got Naz here. Thank you, fellas. Great show. God bless. Cheers, Naz. Thanks for watching. Thanks to those who tuned in, interacted in the live chat. Send in your comments, your questions, or whether you're watching it and you're tuning in. Make sure you do like the live stream. Make sure you click the thumbs up on the live stream if you're watching it back as well. And make sure you're also subscribing to the YouTube channel here, Warriors NRL Fanatics here, and go and check out Hold the Ball. Go and subscribe to Hold the Ball. Follow him on his platforms on Twitter, X, Instagram, Ash as well. He's on all the other platforms. He's at pretty much everywhere now these days, Ash. So he's also on Wise Up TV, doing some great stuff with Wise Up TV. Shout out to the bro Wise Up TV. He was tuning in earlier in the show. He was in the chat there. So go and check out their show. They do a great show each week called All You Can Eat Warriors, which is a great concept. I really enjoy the concept of the show, and I really like what you guys do. So shout out to Ash and Wise Up as well. And go and check out Wise Up. Good friend of the channel. Good friend. And hopefully one day you can meet Wise Up as well in person as well. So fingers crossed. Yeah, for that. But guys, I think that's it. We wraps it up now, everyone. So thank you everyone for watching. Up the Waz, go the Warriors, bring on tomorrow. Looking forward to it. Let's beat those Gold Coast Titans and get those 2 points. And looking forward to it. Enjoy the footy, and also we will remember them lest we forget. Our forts with the soldiers that fought in the war, Australia and New Zealand. It's great what they've done. It's great what they've done. So cheers, everyone. Have a good one. Up the Waz.
Up the Waz.
Up the Waz.